Alright, got my rum now, so you know it's serious. Alright, previously on the Mister. Maxim and Alessia bump uglies. Then they take a bath. He nibbles on her toes. And they bone again. Hello! It's been a while. Again. I never had any plans to abandon this series, but it got put on the back burner for committing the cardinal sin of boring me to such an unfathomable degree. Plus, James seemed to have been laying low for a while, so I've been in no rush to return to this. Even though the world has been quiet here for 4 years, 4 whole damn years. I have been doing this for 4 years, my god. Nevertheless, the ripple of change has been set upon us. Dun dun dun! Hello, ticking clock. Or so I said back in May when I first wrote this. Goodness, James will never fade into that good night, will she? My leggies may be in the air and my thoughts are on England, but now we gotta go. I got places to be. We've also reached the part in the series where the quality of the art must reflect my investment in the story. I feel like I've said that in a previous part, but it needs to be reiterated. God, I hope I can keep my brain from dissociating for a good while. Okay, on with the speedrun. Let's go! Maxim, the all-powerful, senses Alessia's presence before he himself fully awakens. She's curled around him like a fern. Ah, yes, the fern. The most bangable of houseplants, Jesus. Nobody put a blacklight onto any of the plants in this guy's property, that's all I'm saying. Though when Alessia is around him, she's got the personality of a common houseplant, so, nobody put a blacklight onto her either. Maxim holds Alessia close. Oh, what a difference a day makes. Oh god, I love this genre. Maxim wakes Alessia up by initiating morning sex as we cut to a scene break. They're now driving upon the A39. The sun is shining. The air is crisp and cold. No diggity blares over the sound system. God. Oh man, I haven't done this in months, and I had forgotten about James's penchant for random pop music choices at innocuous moments, and it never fails to throw me off kilter. Oh jeez. And of course they talk about music and stuff, and I don't care. We don't care, let's just move on. They're driving on a way to a boutique or something to get Alessia some new clothes. He's reminiscing on their sexcapades from the night prior and how all these new feelings are so raw and unsettling. But he's so excited and adamant to buy clothes for Alessia, totally willing to fight her for the privilege of swiping his magical card on her behalf. I'm not lying, he is willing to fight her for this, and he will win. However, Alessia objects to being spoiled because it doesn't sit right with her. He says it's a gift for all her hard work, and she cuts in with, it's a gift because I have sexual intercourse with you. Ha! Get him, Alessia! Get him! But he guilt trips her and says he'll buy something with or without her, and she acquiesces. It is such a pain to deal with passive-aggressive men like Maxim, yet that's what gives him power. Christian Grey is the same way, just more extreme about it. Both men are so annoying, and James has such shit taste in them. But James also needs Alessia to view Maxim as in the right, so she changes Alessia's personality to have her recant her previous obstinacy. Now her brain's filled with ooh-woo fluffy Maxim love cloud thoughts until she wonders, wait, what is she gonna do once they return to London and the holiday comes to an end? You resume worrying about your sex trafficking pursuers? I still get a kick out of both of these hokey dokies calling this a vacation. That's what I'm gonna say next time I'm on the run from debt collectors and other life-threatening situations. They're never gonna catch me alive! Alessia and Maxim stroll along the street, and she internally remarks how the people are able to freely display affection for one another, unlike in Kukes. Because in hyperbolic Soviet time chamber, you must make room for... Maxim drags Alessia into a store. hands her off to an assistant to go try on some jeans, and he rifles through a rack, not used to picking out clothing for women, as the women he usually dates have the self-confidence to style themselves, and he just comes along to pay. But he really likes not like other girls Alessia. He can care for and protect her. After all, he has so much and she has nothing. It's a redistribution of wealth. Yes, how altruistic and socialist of me. My mother would not be thrilled. That thought made me smile. Shut the f up, you little loser man. Okay, like, for real. Who wants to bet he'll find a way to write this off on his taxes as charitable expenses or something? You know, assuming he pays them to begin with. So Maxim has Alessia try on a few dresses. He battles his raging boner for the 5th time that morning, and 45 minutes later, her wardrobe's well stocked and he forks over his magical card with what I can only imagine to be the smuggest of gut-curdling, punchable smirks. Maxim has to smooch Alessia's objection right out of her lungs, and in front of the store clerk, who, like me, doesn't even want to be there. Next, they go to a shoe store, and Alessia chooses a stout pair of ankle booties, content with just that. But Maxim isn't satisfied. He guilt trips her, again, into accepting a pair of ballet flats and knee-high heeled boots, and if the store stocked high-heeled f***me shoes, he'd guilt her into taking those, too. I'm kind of surprised that Alessia is his first meek partner. He's exceedingly adept at his passive-aggressive game. Maybe he's so excited to be with her because it's the first time he can actually exert power and control over a woman. Just food for thought. It's like, he's too pushy at shoving gifts in her face. It's unnerving to read. Alessia feels guilty for accepting all these gifts, as she can feel her father's scathing judgment in the back of her mind. Her mood plummets as they go get lunch. She sips her sparkling water. Oh my god, someone finally gave her water! I swear it felt like she was being fueled solely by alcohol for 2 days straight. Maxim picks up on Alessia's sour expression and presses her to open up. And open up she does. She's worried about what to do once they return to London, what her father would do to them if he knew about their activities. And she's tired. Tired of being afraid. Maxim's like, huh, that is a lot. And tries to Hakuna Matata and Que Sera Sera her doubts away, while mentally seething that it's 2019, not 1819. Not according to James, my guy. Hell, I'd wager that everything east of Chechnya is locked up in that woman's time chamber. The chapter closes with him watching her sadly slurp her soup as he realizes that, oh hamburgers, he might actually want her heart for realsies. Chapter 17 picks up immediately with Maxim acknowledging the revelation that his creepy infatuation with a timid woman he's entrapped is love, actually. But they know so little about each other. And while he thinks she likes him too, what choice does she have? I'm her only option. She was afraid and she had nowhere to run. I have everything and she has nothing. When the Nimrod is so self-aware, he somehow swings back to clueless again. I just can't even with him. And on some level, I knew that. And I tried to stay away from her, but I couldn't. Yeah, and I tried to stop picking at this book and just go with the flow. We both have our failures to contend with. And now, she's finally opening up to me, but in spite of all I've done, she's still afraid. I've not done enough. My appetite evaporates. Okay. You preyed upon her vulnerability, manipulated her affection, isolated her from the only 2 people she knows, in England, passive-aggressively guilted her on trivialities so she can't say no to you, thereby wrapping her completely around your finger, all in the span of, what, 72 hours? But sure, you're the one who's troubled, buddy. He manages to lift the air with some platitudes that do encourage her, though. Alessia watches him eat, marveling at his impeccable table manners and ability to chew with his mouth closed. So I see she has the bar set pretty low. They stop at a Tesco on the way home for dinner ingredients, and back in the car, Maxim jams out to, of all things, the soundtrack to the movie Arrival. He did say his dull ass likes all music, so, at least that's getting reinforced. Maxim's review of the movie itself. It's great. A real head about time and language and the difficulties of communication. Madam, you are the pinnacle of subtlety. I can only aspire to be as such. When they get back home, Alessia unloads the groceries while Maxim stashes her new clothes into his walk-in closet. He wants to keep her close, you see. His mind wanders back to his self-aware doubts that have now passed the point of redundancy. Although, I would think they passed the point of redundancy a couple chapters ago, but I digress. He wants to make her happy, to ease her troubles. It helped to first legalize her. It won't do for his blue blood noble ass to be secretly harboring an illegal immigrant, huh? What to do? Wait, an idea. Marital fraud. And he does need heirs. Excellent. Problem solved. Court adjourned, we can all go home now. Bye. But wait, no. That's too hasty. He needs to find out more about her. How could he even broach the subject to her? He can barely point out Albania on a map, for Christ's sakes. Which, dude, don't sell yourself so short. You also know the name of that country's capital. While Alessia cooks downstairs, Maxim whips out his phone and Googles the hell out of Albania, just in general Albania, applying the same amount of oh-so-extensive research that James did, I'm sure. Some amount of time passes. It's dark out now, and I guess Maxim's gotten bored, so he opts to bother Alessia. This time he plays some RYX. She pours him some wine, and he excitedly reports that he's been reading all about Albania in the minutes that he's been upstairs. Congrats, bro. Do you want a cookie? Or a head? He asks Alessia to tell him about her life back home, and she does so. Among all the factoids that she unleashes, she also mentions not knowing how to drive, and Maxim offers to teach her. There's still some time before dinner's ready, so Alessia asks to phone Magda. Maxim watches her with total heart eyes, just pages and pages of inanity. Then, dinner is finally ready. We're presented with the equivalent of a getting to know you montage as Maxim plies Alessia with questions and wine. He asks if she's ever traveled, and she gives a typical dream girl princess response of, I have traveled all over the world in books. But I like this distinction. And I have been to America watching TV. But then, American TV? Yes, Netflix, HBO. In Albania? She grins at my surprise. Yes, we have television. How do you pay for your subs, Alessia? With a goat? And don't try and weasel out of this by saying she pirated or bummed off someone else's account. According to James's version of Kukes, the Demarquis family PC may as well be a dusty-ass IBM that's barely able to chug Windows 98. And she just learned what a credit card was 3 or 4 days ago. Her eyes would probably glaze the moment you start explaining to her what a VPN is. Also, you'd think her dad would forbid her from watching HBO, lest she be exposed to something saucy. Such titillation is only for The conversation veers toward Alessia's relationship with her parents, how she misses her mom but not her dad. Maxim asks if she wants to go back home, but she says that she cannot. He anxiously presses her why, and she confesses that ... she is betrothed. Dun dun dun! End of chapter 17. 18 has Maxim feel like he's been kicked in the chest. Betrothed? What in the medieval times is that buffoonery? There's a love rival to worry about now? But this reveal irritates him for a second. And you were going to tell me this when? Oh, you fled Albania altogether to get away from him, and all this started just after your birthday? It's a lot to process, and Alessia is visibly upset that he's upset. When he stands up and goes to sweep his hair aside, Alessia is triggered by that arm motion and recoils. This horrifies Sir Bumbling Mick Richard III, and he's ready to engage murder mode for his girl's honor. But he calms himself for her sake. He apologizes for his mini outburst, and she reassures him that there's no love toward her betrothed. They hug and kiss it out. He tells her that she's safe now. He's got her, yada yada. RYX is still playing in the background with his husky, melancholy falsetto about only falling in love. It's soulful and rousing and relevant and still subtle. While he's got her in his arms, they might as well dance it out too. They sway and shuffle and nuzzle about. Hands skim this way and that way, up, down, sideways, 2D, 3D, the fourth dimension, what have you.
I've never danced like this.
I've never danced with you. He gently pulls off her hair tie. Well, wait. I mean, he unfastens the elastic tethering her hair and slides it off. Her hair unravels freely. The mood's supposed to be all intimate, but it's giving high school dance. He's all, come to bed.
Oh, but I gotta wash the dishes.
The dishes, baby.
Let me at least soak them. It's a real hassle when food stuff crusts over and
make love to me, Alessia. And she does. He moves her about on top of him and she's a pliant doll. At least this sex scene's short. He just comes and comes and comes and comes. Which, considering his lack of stamina and penchant for skimping out on foreplay, it's the only way sex can be worthwhile for Maxim. Over and over for some minutes till he's shooting out empties. Alessia stews in the afterglow. So content and super duper uberly tuberly in love with this guy. It's true happy love like her grandparents' marriage, and unlike her parents' relationship. Maxim actually talks with her, a weakness in men according to her culture. He also protected her and cooked for her and bought her clothes and made sweet ooh love to her. And when he learned about her fiance, he was only anxious that her heart might sway toward another. Also, quick question to throw out into the ether, cause it's been bothering me for a long time. How did Alessia's mom come to marry her husband? Cause the mom is the daughter of the Bible smuggling grandma who married for love. Did that not rub off on her daughter? Or did the daughter marry for love but her husband revealed his true colors and she was just screwed? The way this is played out right now is that while the grandmother was able to follow her heart in a progressive manner at that time, her own daughter somehow just regressed into societal norms. We gotta be missing parts of the mom's true story here. Something doesn't really click completely from my brain. Anyway, Maxim's been resting on Alessia's belly. He rouses and then he goes down on her. Fade to black. Day 3 of their getaway starts with more morning sex and the promise to stay in bed all day. Cut to Maxim leaving the bathroom sometime later. Alessia's gone and he's disappointed. He's already amped up for round 6. Alessia strolls in with breakfast. He shows her how to stream music through his phone and oh boy, he has so much music. He also doesn't like how sweet his coffee is, so she bounces up to remake it. A Dua Lipa song plays downstairs, and if he recalls correctly, she is Albanian too. Someone wiggled their eyebrows all clever-like for me. I don't have that capability to. And also, in case y'all forgot how tedious every mundane scene in this book is, there's a refresher play-by-play. You're welcome. Alessia's dancing downstairs, not remembering the last time she felt so content. No one point out the afterglow scene some minutes ago. We're working with a Dory brain over here. Compared to when she arrived 3 days ago, she looks and feels so happy now. She takes a coffee back to Maxim. He throws that shit back like a frat boy with a fireball before Alessia's back in bed. He starts to feel her up, still determined to have his round 6. There's some foreplay, and when I say some, I really do mean the bare minimum. He's like just grasping a titty right now or something. And then Maxim's like, I want to try something new. Oh? What's this? Anal on day 3? How daring. He tells her to turn over. Her butt wiggles all cute-like, and he's thinking, one of these days, Alessia, bang, zoom, straight up your butt. Which, considering how the flow of time works in this book, one day probably means later that evening. Right now, though, he just takes her from behind, and it's so hot. Oh, baby. He comes and comes and comes once more, and then again. Cut to another instance of Alessia reveling in her afterglow. He asks if she wants to go out, and she says no. Alessia did say she wanted to spend a day in bed. Girl's willing to commit. Cut to Maxim waking up to the strains of Rachmaninoff. No, don't bring my man Rachmaninoff into this. His music's too Good for you. You're a basic bitch. Stick with Bach. Maxim rushes downstairs to augur Alessia's flawless piano playing. It's emotional. Afterwards, they go for round 7. Cut to round 7 for that hour, where Alessia is already confident on her dick bouncing. Truly a prodigy indeed. Cut to another Alessia afterglow moment. Right there, on the floor next to the piano. Actually kind of surprised they forewent the bed this time. Alessia also learns that she likes toppings, so good for her. Maxim says he's hungry. Estime said it's gotta be close to the early bird special dinner hour. It's pouring rain outside and he wants to go out, but Alessia offers to cook for him cause she likes it. She moves too quickly and realizes she's sore. Yeah, I bet. Maxim's like, no, you have to tell me these things. I can't have my aching queen cook. We must get dressed and brave the pounding rain to eat at a restaurant instead. So they shower together. She still refuses to look or touch or even reference Maxim's dick. But he washes her thoroughly and she moans and he's like, no round A for this hour. Food first. Alessia says she'll get dressed and will cook for him instead. We really don't need to battle the cats and dogs outside. And he's like, actually, you don't need to get dressed then. Hardy har har har. Cut to almost midnight. They didn't even go out after all, apparently. The two are back in bed and Maxim sums up the whole ass 21 pages that make up this chapter. It's been a perfect day. Making love, eating, making love, drinking, making love, and listening to Alessia play the piano, ... and watching her cook. I yearn for the sweet embrace of nothingness. Or a nap. Maxim watches Alessia sleep. One of these days, she'll touch every inch of him. She surely will, in her own time. Probably tomorrow even. If the weather's nice though, he'd like to take her out. Maybe let her into his own life a little. We'll see. He closes his eyes. End of chapter 18. 48 hours and 45 pages. Anyone having fun yet? I got no closing statement in mind. We got 5 parts left and that impending doom nipping at my heels. And at this point, it might as well just eaten me already. So like, hoes and bros, we still gotta hustle though. Got to go. See you in part 7. Adios.